Hi everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a low plat, high gold, low plat, something in that range, Genji. I think there's also going to be quite a bit of McCree in here, but Genji and McCree. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff.
Your father was the one who invented Vishka's sonic technology.
The Cortex was his life's work, owned and patented by Vishkar.
Can I explain where the defending team should hold later? I can just explain where the defending team should hold now, because that would be a good thing for people to know. So let's make sure that that's all set. Good, good. Okay, so the defending team is looking to initially hold around here. This is roughly right. I mean, they have a Reinhardt, so it's not right. They have a Reinhardt Zarya, so it's not right. But this general area is relatively correct for most defending team compositions. But this is a soft hold. This is a, we're going to poke you from here. We're going to pressure you from here. We're not going to let you come up through here. We're going to shoot down at you. This is not a committed hold from the defending team. This is like the, we're going to soft hold you. We're going to pressure you. We're going to make you earn these inches. We're just going to put damage into you as you're taking this. And it's a higher priority for us that we don't get eliminated, because you don't want to actually get wiped here. You don't need to drop and actually take this fight. If you had dive tanks, you could do like, I'm going to tap the point and leave maybe once or twice. You could go like, Tracer's going to do a quick blink in here, tag the point real quick, and then leave. Like, those types of things are okay, but this is a soft engage that you're primarily playing around here, not a hard engage. And if you want to have someone in here too, or multiple people in here, that's fine. But really, this is sort of the area that you are looking to take your soft engage in to just do pressure. And the reason you do that, the reason you go, we don't want to hard commit to this fight, is you don't want to not have people. You don't want to have the cart get to here and then lose someone and then not get this fight. Because this is the actual fight you're playing for as defenders on second. Because what you're going to do is you're going to set up, again, preferably with dive tanks, control of this right here. If you have control of blue box, and you can get, say, a Widowmaker, an Ashe, something with really strong poke back here, it is very, very hard for the attacking team to get the cart past this. Because you can have a Winston plop down and pop right back up. A Diva plop down and pop right back up. And they're never going to make any progress here. And if you're running a worse tank like Reinhardt, you can go, hey, I could play from here, or potentially I'm going to play from here. But regardless, if I can like go, hey, we're not going to let the cart pass here, and maybe we have a Genji helping control us up here. If the other team can't get control of this place right here, they can't get someone back to contest, say, a Widowmaker or an Ashe back here. And even if you don't have a Widowmaker or an Ashe, though I recommend you do, you're still going to have like an Ana or a Zen back here. And if you can't get something here, a Genji, a Winston, a Diva, something like that, it becomes very hard to contest this here, because you're not going to get a Winston, a Ball, anything like that through to here to be able to go up here to contest Ana, Zen, Widow, these strong backliners, because this is just such an open staging area that you have to push through, and they'll lose so much health on the way through here. So that's what we're generally looking at when it comes to defending this map. It's all about controlling this so that you can set up your strong backliners back here. And by strong backliners, again, I mean like the Widows, the Zens, the Anas. This is a point where you can actually greed double flex support, where greeding Zen Ana can be pretty darn good. You can also go, hey, maybe I'll do something up here. In the old days, you used to see Brig up here, for example. That makes less sense now that she's more squishy. But this is a point where you can go, hey, we don't need the peel feature of a Lucio to help our Ana or to help our Zen necessarily here. We can double up and greed on both of them because the terrain does so much natural peel for us if we're correctly controlling this. And then the attacking team, has to figure out, how do we get control of this? If they try to rotate in here, they get soft engaged on or hard engaged on. A better rotation is through here, drop into here, but that rotation takes forever because it requires that the attacking team rotates up through here like this, And that just takes forever. You're not going to see an attacking team do that more than once, and in ladder play, I will be surprised if you see a 6-man rotation like that. So that's what it looks like. Hey, Semitic. So the front of Gibraltar high ground is a soft hold, and then you flip to the back for a hard hold? Yes. Yes. This is where you expect to hold for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, overtime, whatever. This is the hold you expect with the cart right here. And then the last place that the attackers can come through is here. But if you're aware of this, if you mark this with a Widow Mine, if you notice when opponents go missing and stop fighting you from blue box, this isn't amazing either. Because again, they're going to come through here and they're immediately going to have to go vertical on that. And if you're ready for that, that's okay. And you can have your own, say, dive tanks that are holding this, jump back in, peel, and all that stuff. Okay, I hope that made sense. Hey, Super Q. Hey, Super. I'm going to leave that at that. Okay, cool. Back to our Genji. Now that we've done our Gibraltar first point map explanation.
Attackers incoming. Stop the pain.
Right idea. Didn't really get between her, but then she popped a bubble, so we understand. No, 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 no. You can't stand there. You didn't have to deflect. Drop it. Clear the Discord. Now do it again. Perfect. Clear the Discord. You didn't have to go that far back. One more. One more. Hit and then dash. You can bait her. Okay. You just needed more confidence in hitting your shots. And to hit your shots. But hey. Like, that was the sort of thing that you do actually go, hey, I'm just going to trust that I'm going to hit this next burst of shurikens and then dash through you. And if I have to do another final little bit of shuriken after that or a melee after that, so be it. But that's okay. They had the harmony. I understand it was scary. Okay. But this is the exact opposite. So you look at this. You don't know her health level, but you do know that she's scoped and not looking at you, which means she's effectively standing still. So do not a triple spread where it's like da 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 with your shurikens. Do a 1, 2, 3 where you're going to hit her with those. And then you can immediately dash following it because you know you're going to hit her with those, and you're in a relatively isolated duel spot where she's less likely to get help, you're less likely to get punished for using your dash. So, like, I'm totally fine with you using your dash here, but you shouldn't immediately open with your dash. She's basically not moving. This is as easy as your shurikens are going to get. So hit your triple or double headshot here from a 1, 2, 3, and then dash in and look to finish this. That just hurts. That just hurts. Because now she's got a chance of actually getting away. Why would we dash here? Why? Okay. If your team is over there, you don't want to go over here and throw shurikens from over here. You, if anything, want to go, oh, hey, maybe I'll drop down here. Literally as I'm dropping, I'll put shurikens into the Zen. Maybe I'll do spread shuriken, dash, melee, dash out, wall climb. Like, that's what you're looking to do as Genji. Play from this different angle. I don't care that you've got this on you. Was that a Discord, or was the screen just being silly? No, it's the Widow Mine. Yeah, I don't care. I really don't care about the Widow Mine. Like, yes, they can see you, but they're not even looking at you. Please don't play at the same angle as your team. Please go up and around. Oh, look, you surrendered this space, so of course Echo's going to take it. And now Echo has a good angle into your team as opposed to you having a good angle into their team. That's unfortunate. The fight for Gibraltar isn't actually over who, can win in this tunnel. It's over who can win up here. That's what I was going over before the match started to answer a question. If you can get dominance of this high ground, you're going to be able to get the cart really all the way to here. Or you're going to be able to keep the cart right here. So it's not actually about what's happening down here. If you control this, you will get control of this. If you leave this to go fight down here, the Echo will go take control of it.
Back at you.
I would like some frames, Overwatch. Oh, I've been blessed. I did in fact get frames.
Double kill. Triple kill.
You can set up top and tax them again. You're not going to get a hard fight, but set up top and you'll be able to tax them over here again. You won't be able to stay as long because they don't have to move the cart, but just a little bit of tax them or a little bit of let me throw up here, throw a couple shurikens and leave. Like you can't stay here and just throw shuriken after shuriken, but you can throw some shurikens from an angle they're not expecting like this, even into a 1v3, a 1v6 type scenario because they're not expecting you here. For your first peek, you can get away with that. For a first peek, you can get away with that. It's weird how low ranks will play such high ground intensive maps like it doesn't exist. This guy's like 2500, so like, you know, it's not high rank, but this shouldn't be. Yeah. Please go retake blue box. I'm serious. If you have control of blue box, you can either battle the Echo on even ground as opposed to from below, or if Echo wasn't there, you'd be able to go, oh, hey, I get to pester the bejesus out of you guys, and you have to pick between paying attention to me or paying attention to my team down there. And even though there's 3 of you and 1 of me, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with this fight. Like, I'm not going to eliminate all 3 of you, but I can be pretty darn annoying to you guys from up here. Again, with the Echo there, you have to battle her for supremacy first, but that's okay. You go, hey, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you from around this, and you're doing more than the rest of your team, and maybe your Mercy will figure it out and come help you up here. Or maybe you'll get a Mercy boost as you blade and go clean this up. Or maybe you'll be able to force Trance and then blade. You get the idea. Don't you dare. No, no, no. We have beat going. Okay, we have beat going. And we have Velt going. Great. Great. They have duplicate going. We have beats and Valk going. We would like to fight pretty hard right now. We would like to fight, just fight, pretty hard right now. Oh, Grav! Why would we blade? Why would we blade? This is clearly a reaction to the Grav. If you bladed with not as a reaction to the Grav, no, that wouldn't even be good. Like, we have beat and Velt going, we have to just fight the opponents hard in a desperate bid to get their Transcendence out. That's what we really needed to do. But even if that didn't happen, once the Grav came out, that was almost certainly going to get the Transcendence out. Come on, we have a Grav going, we have half of our beat, more than half our beat left, and we have a Velt going. They're going to Transcendence. They're going to Transcendence. They're going to. They're just going to lose otherwise. Why would we pull our blade? Were we just not tracking? Like, Zen is the first hero you learn to track ults for as Genji. When it comes to, hey, I'm Genji, I need to be thinking about ult tracking, who is the most important person for me to track the ult on the other team? Well, it's Zen and Lucio, because those are the 2 that make your blade the hardest. And it really becomes Zen because Lucio gets his ult relatively slow. Relatively slow compared to Zen. So you look at that and go, Zen becomes literally the first person you learn to track the ult for on the other side. So I think you're just not doing any ult tracking. But honestly, it's 2 minutes into the match, man. Like, even if you're not doing any ult tracking, there just needs to be a tick, a something, a flag in your mind of like, wait a second, it's been more than 90 seconds. The Zen definitely has Transcendence. Like, and that is some level of tracking, and that's fine. But we're 2 minutes in, you haven't seen Zen use Transcendence, he's definitely got Transcendence. And you've got to factor that in, and that means you don't want to blade this. You want to either blade specifically to get Transcendence out, I can live with that, and then win with Grav, or you blade to get Transcendence just because you went, hey, I am very confident I can even though I didn't make this one in time, that my next blade will come faster than his Transcendence. Not a great belief, but you can believe that depending on how your skills have developed. Um, but you aren't going to throw your blade into a fight that he can save with Transcendence, because he's then definitely going to save it with Transcendence. Like, his Transcendence is now effectively countering 4 ults. Really? Really, why would you let him do that? You could instead be like, my team vastly overulted. You answer with Transcendence, but we'll survive we'll survive the overulting because 2 of these are support ults. And then as soon as your ult is over, I'll still probably have a couple seconds of mercy. I'll probably get like 2/3 of my blade valked, and I'll just, after this is over, I'll get the wipe. So even though we'll use too many ults, we'll at least win the fight. Now you're using your blade, which now makes it easy for him to go, oh, I was trying to hold I couldn't decide whether I was going to use my Transcendence to counter this or to counter this, and you're letting me do both? Sweet. Great. I'm totally good with that. So like, you can't do this. You need to track defensive ults, and specifically that's going to be Transcendence, that's going to be Beat or Sound Barrier, and really that's going to be Lamp as well. You do start tracking other things too for what's going to give you headaches, and that can be things like Rally, that can be things like Whole Hog. There's other things out there that will give you headaches that you'll pay some attention to, but these are the real things that you want to track, and these 2 are ults. This one's a cooldown. Okay. Are you just farming damage? You are. Tanks think I need to touch payload. Supports think I can go high ground myself. And DPS, nobody is high ground. I'm going to stay with the team. You might be giving DPS too much credit. Because you can go high ground by yourself as DPS. It's because you easily get bullied off high ground. That's because people want it. And you don't get that easily bullied off. Oh, support status. Moira can't spray there. People don't position, so their Anabap can heal them well up there, so they end up having to leave. I don't know about that. Trance to counteract Beat Valk Blade Graph. Yeah, it's a pretty good trance. Quick and dirty. If I have ult, they have ults. Have they used theirs? Yeah, that can be a very quick and dirty method of ult tracking. Lamp does nothing versus Genji. His slash cleaves lamp and everything in it. That's not strictly true. It still does something against Genji. It's a countermeasure to Blade. It's not the perfect countermeasure to Blade, but it absolutely slows down a Blade like a Rally can slow down a Blade. Like having a Briggs Bash and Lucio Boops and Diva Boops can slow down a Blade. There are things that slow down Blade. Genji's don't generally go, I have to force Lamp no matter what before going in here, but they are interested in putting some pressure on BAP and seeing if they can force it first. It slows down Blade a little bit. Yes, it can cleave it, but remember, those are at different heights. Those can be away a bit, and Genji does need to get his chain going in terms of, hey, I get my slash here, I go over here, I get my slash here, I go over here, I get my slash here, I go over here, I get my slash here. And if he goes over here and gets his slash and he just gets the lamp because people are, the lamp is here and the lamp's range puts someone to here, like, no, he doesn't always have the, oh, well, I can just cleave and get both of them in one thing. It slows him down. It's not a perfect answer, but it does slow him down. Having to leave high ground. That was for low Elos temporal. Not even there though. Like, even a Goldana can just sit here and be like, no, no, there's not really much you can do to make me leave. Like, your team has to go, well, we're gonna fight over here to make you leave, and you're just sort of sitting there scratching your head, going, well, if my team is silly enough to take a fight there, I'm probably better off 1v6ing the opposing team from here. Not really, but like almost. Like, this is a pretty good vision of everywhere that you could possibly want to interact with. Same for a Zen. Like, yes, a Moira's going to struggle up here, but why are you playing Moira on Gibraltar? buys more time to use a cooldown against him, flash melt him. Exactly. The gold Ana wouldn't be on high ground herself because the enemy diva or monkey or ball or sombra or tracer will end up in her face there. If they properly understand high ground, if they properly understand that I need to get control of this, and then from here I've staged properly to get on them, sure. But there's not really anywhere that's better for that. Like, if you instead position down here as Ana, you may be a little safer from that, but not wildly. Like, they can still go, I stage up here, and I use my movement ability to go on you. Like, there isn't anywhere that's really better for the gold Ana than up here. So, I don't really buy that argument. Again, if the Diva, the Winston, whatever comes up here, they have just as good access to over here. Now, they're more vulnerable to, like, a Widow up here if your team isn't controlling this. I grant that, but, you know, that's how it works. I don't deny that. That said, if the opposing team doesn't have a Widow, you're going to rock it. If you have your own Widow, you desperately want your tanks here. Well, in any situation, you desperately want your tanks controlling this. And for a Tracer or a Sombra to get interface, they end up having to transition through here, which is, again, at least they had to make a long rotation. And, you know, oh, you showed up here, okay, I'll drop. But also, you didn't actually show up here because I took a pot shot at you to slow you down when you went through server room as Ana. Healing my team, flick, pot shot, back. Oh, Genji's trying to push me, healing my team. Shot. Okay, and now that Genji doesn't want to push until he can go get a health pack. Flankers are very unhappy to, like, they don't really want to continue their deep rotations to go push Ana if they've had pressure on them before they got close. But hey. Great. Still want you to take high ground. You got them, but imagine how much easier it would have been to pincer these guys. To be like, nope, you guys are all looking forward at my team. My team's pushing you from that direction, and I'm back here. Imagine how much easier that would have been. This Orisa shield wouldn't have done anything to protect them. They wouldn't have been shooting at you, or when they did start to turn to shoot at you, it would have meant they weren't shooting at your team. And then you pop deflect, and they're like, oh shoot, we're having our damage deflected back at us from this direction. Your team's shooting us from this direction. What do we do? Tracer just blinks from brew block, drops a bomb, and presses R. Yeah, and? I mean, okay. So Tracer does that. Cool. I'm glad Tracer had to spend Pulse Bomb. Tracer's movement also became very predictable if they're trying to blink in from here. Like, it is expensive. As Tracer, to get from here to here, you are double blinking. You are double blinking in a very predictable way, and it becomes, okay, well, now I know what you're doing. Or you're going, hey, I'm blinking over like this, and then your movement is very limited by this path in a way that Tracer doesn't like, which makes her blinks much more obvious what she's going to do. Like, that's still better than being here, where Tracer's options to get to you from here, from here, from here, from here, from here, and from here are so much better. Like, it's still the best spot. It is. Sorry, guys. This is, you know, the best Ana spot is up here, even in medal ranks. Even if your team isn't cooperating. Again, you could attack them from here, but with all this downtime that they've given you, why haven't you climbed up here and been like, oh, I can probably break this without you guys even realizing from here. Maybe I can walk over here and break this without you realizing. Like, that's how this works. Probably unnecessarily risky, but I like hiding on blue boxes, Anna. Depends where the fight is. I mean, if you're trying to hold blue box when we're still in this first soft engage where your team is holding up here, that's fine. Long-term holding here, no. It's too accessible to the tanks. It's too accessible to Genjis. It's too accessible for the attacking team, and it sort of encourages the attacking team to go the right way. So I don't particularly like the hold long-term here, Anna.
60 seconds remaining.
Okay.
Visor activated.
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
I mean, if people really don't bother you at all up here, it's okay. But like, they should. Like, this is very much, if you're holding this, you're very much playing into the opponents are literally too incompetent to take any control of high ground. Because if they take any control of high ground, you can't hold them off blue boxes, Anna. And they have more and better approaches into you. Like, it's better than playing here, sure. I'm not even convinced it's better than playing forklift, but it's not as good as playing back here. So, like, this drags the opponents up here, and that's fine. I mean, I would rather the opponent have to take more steps of going, hey, we have to go do the right thing before we're allowed to take the real fight. It's good to make your opponents go through extra steps, but it's so easy for a Winston, a Genji, a Diva, whatever, to come in here and get you, an Echo to come in here and get you right here. Yeah, it's fine.
Let's get you back out there.
Sure, you can hear them. I just don't know that that helps you. Like, you can hear them, but that tells you that you're going to leave or you're going to fight them. But ultimately, you're going to, if you leave, you're now in a bad spot, and you're in a bad spot where they're above you and your team. As opposed to if they tried to take blue box to pressure your team when you're still back here, you go, nope, I can still put pressure on you. I can still go, nope, I put some pressure on you. And they have to get control of blue box before they can break your team here, especially if you're here supporting your team. And once they're here, they can put some pressure on you, but you do have cover options, etc. Yeah. It's just how many steps do you want the opponents to take thing, where it becomes a, hey, they're going to have to take blue box before they can challenge you here, versus, yes, if you're here, you'll still enforce this, you'll still protect your team well, but it's less steps to remove you than deal with your team than it is, it's control blue box, then deal with team, or control blue box, then somehow get this, then defeat team. Okay, we're out here on our McCrane, on our McCree.
Need a doctor. Need healing.
Why are you reloading at 2 ammo? Well, there's a bunch of enemies in front of you. Okay, angling a little to the right. That's a little better. Again, reloading with shots there. While there's definitely enemies in front of you. Just because you took down an enemy doesn't mean you need to reload. Definitely don't need to reload there either. Better. Sure. You needed to fan again.
Hey there.
Lucio Mercy. Yeah, but what are you gonna do? should have been a fan. That shouldn't have been a fan. You wanted to fan the bubble. Once you flash the monkey, though, you need to recognize that you only have 2 shots left and just go for the headshot, not go for a 2-bullet fan. Look for it. Okay. Good.
All in a day's work.
Good. Yeah. Why? Yeah, you could have scooted further left, but that's okay. We'd like you and Soldier to take different angles. That's sort of on him right now. He's got the better mobility. Really? You went back? You had the Mercy Beam on you like immediately, so you could have actually challenged this Winston. You had roll, you had flash, you had a full clip. Like, that was doable. Now you have to fight your way back out. Again, like, you're looking at this. You're here. I guess. Sure. Why are you rolling in? Because you feel the need to contest cart? Yeah, okay. Like, that should really... Yeah, okay, fine. Tracer. Owie. Okay. So, you gotta play your angles with Genji. You gotta play from different angles with Genji. It would have been so easy to punish that team on first from behind multiple times and just make them absolutely hate playing the video game. That would have been fantastic and very easy to do, as well as establishing that solid high ground control. You also had room to go, hey, I can open with some of these shurikens on targets that really aren't moving, that aren't really paying attention to me. The Widow, the Zen, things like that, where they're just not paying attention to you, and you can be like, oh, I can line up an easy triple headshot shuriken and then dash in there, rather than just dashing in there to start. We don't really want to dash until we have some good information that we're going to be able to get a reset within half a second with a very high probability. That means either we've done shuriken damage multiple times to soften them up, or sometimes we'll dash after we've thrown our shurikens, but before they've connected, because we know our shurikens are going to hit them because we threw them at a target that's effectively standing still. So those are sort of what we're looking to do a little more as Genji. That's kind of one, kind of two topics there. The second thing is you just have to track transcendences. You can't throw your blade at a Zen that's already going to get value from countering the grab and be like, ah, yes, I'm going to blade into this grab when he has trance. No, he got to counter 4 ults, and that can't happen. It's literally the first thing you follow. For your McCree, you really weren't doing anything in terms of playing angles either. It was a little harder to do so on your McCree just based on the momentum of the match, and it really would have been more on Soldier to take the angles, but if he's not, you still want to, and then you want just a little more consciousness of where your ammo count is, as that'll control whether you go for fans or headshots, as well as, you know, hey, I'm not reloading just because I got an elimination, as that just loses you uptime. With Lucio Mercio, does this guy need to take more aggressive angles? I would think that with this for support comp, they need to win faster. They're just going to lose slowly. I mean, he always needs to take more aggressive angles. So, yes. They swapped to BAP. Now they actually have something, but the question is, will Mercy prioritize DPS or continue to deal about tanks? I wasn't watching her particularly closely. Okay. Fine. Hey, I'm good with Anna Zen. Why? You haven't softened up this Zen. You haven't softened up this Zen. You don't believe that Luna is missing health. You don't see a Discord over this Zen. You don't see this Zen's health bar being purple. You don't have a monkey up here zapping this Zen. Why do you think you can just dash through this rather than throw shurikens first to hit it so that you get a feel for what its health is? And to set yourself up to potentially get your dash reset. Like, why do you think you can dash in here? What, is Deanna your target? Okay, same story. Like, she wasn't missing enough health for you to do this yet, and I don't believe that you're going to get an elimination within half a second of this because the Zen's right here to move the Harmony Orb. She's got another friend right behind you. Like, she still has her nade cooldown. You don't want to be here. It's a little easier for you to get out because the terrain gives you good wall climb options, but that didn't make sense. You should have thrown shurikens there. You want to throw your shurikens when they're not yet aware of you, when they're not looking at you, because that's going to make it easiest to hit your shurikens. You can hit your dash on them even when they're aware of you. That's not hard. They're not going to dodge that. It's got a generous hitbox. And I'm not talking about tanks because I know Temporal hates Rhine on this map. Like, yes. Yes, and Temporal is objectively correct to hate Rhine on this map.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Sure. Farm the Discord Orb tank. Works for me. Great. You don't know that Anna's weak enough, so this is fine. Okay. You press the healing button. That's all you can do. No prob. Try to get spaceship. Through top right, get spaceship. Yep. Better. It's fine. Just farm blade. This is lost fight. Farm blade charge. Too long. Too long. Too long. Leave. Leave. Yeah, I didn't want you to stay so long because by staying so long, you actually forced your own dash. And that's annoying because now you don't have your dash, which means you're going to be slower to returning to one of these 4 different spots that you can farm from. So Genji, because you've got access to so many different spots and because farming your blade, which you now have, so that's actually fine. But I'm going to continue the point. If you didn't have blade, you would be willing to potentially go back to one of these spots, preferably a different one than you were just at, to farm even into this hypothetical 1v6 because they don't know where you're going to show up, and you farming your blade is that important. But you have the blades, you'll just wait, which is great. And now you have to figure out how you're going to get Trance out of Zen. Or you hold your blade until the Zarya is closer to grab, and then you blade specifically to get Trance, and then you let your Zarya one with grab. That's fine too. But I wouldn't do it now because what if your Zarya is so slow and doesn't do it? Like, unfortunately, she's going to be unreliable. And you wouldn't want another Trance to come up before Zarya uses the grab. Okay. Good. You can just leave. You can just leave. There's not too many ults at you. Don't you dare blade. Good. You got Bob, Tire, Trance, successful fight. I remember clips of Flats forcing Rhine here, and on first he would hide on the other side of bridge and just charge across when Winston jumped on it. Yeah, you can see that. The truth is, like, you can do fun stuff like that. But the truth is, if you actually wanted to run a Rhine comp, you can just play the map a little differently. Like, you can go, hey, I'm going to play my Reinhardt here. I'm going to go set up for an early real hold. And then I'm going to do a little bit more of a server room hold. And if we hold server room, you can't really get above and behind us. And we have a Rhine here. Maybe we have an Ashe or a Kree controlling an angle here type thing. And then we have perhaps something like a Zen here. Like, it's doable, or maybe a Rhine here, whatever. It's doable. Like, it's not the absolute worst thing in the world. It's not as strong as running dive tanks. It's the worst map for Brawl, don't get me wrong. But, like, there's ways you can do it that are better than what you see on ladder. It's just they're not good enough to actually be strongest, which is why even in hard brawl metas, you would see, nope, even when everyone was playing brawl in North America and Europe, even when that was happening, you'd see they'd run double bubble here. Even when it was hard goats, you saw things like, okay, let's run Bastion here. This isn't actually a good Bastion map, but you see things like, hey, just running hard brawl tanks here is not fun. Okay. 1700s warfare, all 12 players gather around a single battle. They'd actually be kind of cool to see. 2 lines of 6. They say ready, aim, fire, then close ranks and repeat till none's left. That could be a game mode. Yeah, but again, Bastion's not great when he's got a lot of things, at least offensively, when he's got a lot of things that if he does the cart riding thing, easy to drop on him here. Easy to drop on him here. Easy to drop on him here. Easy to drop on him from here. Like, easy to drop on him back here. He's not good when the ability to take high ground above him creates a bunch of short-range, fast engagement opportunities on him, and Gibraltar is just filled with those on first and second. But you can sometimes get teams because you surprise them. That's not what they're expecting. Okay, that was fine. Good. You didn't need to drop. Like, you could choose not to blade this fight if you want, because then, even though Zen is close to it again, like, you sort of go, hey, you probably don't expect Zen is quite this close to having Transcendence again, because that's actually pretty good Transcendence gain for having just used it last fight. But more importantly, words are hard. More importantly, hey, you did get the elimination there. They're not rezzing that, and you can look at this and go, we can probably win this without. So just apply pressure to the Reinhardt from here. Just hard farm the Reinhardt with the Zarya from here. Why? Why would you drop? You don't need to open this to be like, aha, now I have 4 targets available to me instead of just the 2, because just the 2, no one could shoot at you. Now you've put yourself in a situation where there's more targets available to you, but you can still only shoot at one of them at a time, and these ones are able to shoot back at you, and we don't like that. Or you can just blade. But if you were going to blade, you'd have wanted to pull out your blade as you were dropping before you got this Discord on you. Did we really just nano blade Grav when we... Oh, whatever. You don't control that. I'll live. I would have much preferred that you pulled out your blade up here, or that you pulled out your blade as you were dropping, as opposed to like going here to try to clear Discord type stuff.
Enemy contact.
Okay. Your Zarya and Reinhardt are here, so you're working your way up here, right? That's what you're doing? No. No. Get high ground. Get high ground. Good. Good. Oh, you didn't have to flex yet. Okay.
Into the iris.
Yeah, the blade is hard temp. You need some help in one place. That's like, yeah. Truth be told, truth be told, Blade is kind of hard. It takes some practice, but most people who are playing Genji are like, that's what you want to practice. That's what you want to do. Genji is hard. You've got to get blade mechanics. You've got to learn how to use deflect against, a bunch of different heroes' weapon types, because deflecting them turns it effectively into their weapon from an origin point. Like, Genji's a hard hero, and he's not all that good. But most people who play him understand that they have to get good at his blade. And they go do, 4v4, the 4v4 Anna, McCree, Genji, Reinhardt thing a bunch. There you go. Lots of blade practice. Okay. You have your cooldowns, but you took too much damage right there. Yeah, and I suppose I can be more critical here. So here you are. Okay, you can farm from here. That's fine. But I probably wouldn't actually be trying to take space here because your team isn't providing quite enough threat for you yet. You're drawing a little too much of the attention, so this was probably a stay here thing, not a push up yet thing. Yeah, this isn't really a place you can stay. And your Reinhardt just now is opening himself up to be a threat, and you've been in the open for half a second. Yeah. Hardest ult to master is probably Primal, maybe Echo, but really it's just copy, tank, and aggro. I mean, you could say it's Echo, because to master Echo, you really have to master everyone's, but to get sort of your minimum value, yeah, you sort of need to be like, to minimally get an ult that's not pretty weak, to get some value, it's probably Primal, and that, hey, Echo, there's other things that you can copy, and really just being the monkey for a while is pretty powerful, with that extra life from it. And then the extra life from Primal, even if you don't get good Primal value. So yeah, it's probably Primal, but it's probably Primal or words, Primal or Duplicate. Yeah, that's fair. Pulse Bomb is hard. That's true.
The battle continues.
Like Echo can copy Paul and ult 3 times.
60 seconds remaining.
Why are you here? Oh, that's why you're here. I still don't like it, but okay.
Go. I keep you here.
So I think Diva is really the much better answer for copy and ult a bajillion times. Infinite self-destruct. Good, good. Sure. Except that she didn't track the Transcendence. So is this so that your Zarya can win with grab? That's fine. Okay, that's fine.
Let us hope for a different outcome.
My strength unleashed. Fire at will.
Okay, so you've got some work to do here, but you've also got some nice pieces to your Genji play. So the first thing that you need to do is you do have some understanding of I need to take angles and I need to do my pressure on Genji. You do have some understanding of that. You're not constantly playing with your team or anything, but we need to take this to the next level. There's more times to go, hey, I'm taking a different angle and I'm pressuring from there, particularly from high ground. I've pointed those out in this match, and I need you to look more for them, because there is this next level sort of, not even like a next level, like it's mentally harder, but like there's too many opportunities that you're still leaving on the table, even though you're defaulting to playing Genji the right way, from these off angles, you are still leaving too many times that you could be going and getting good off angle value on the table. and you've got some push timing stuff like we saw when you actually pushed up here, not this time, but on a different time when your Rhine wasn't really a distraction for you yet. So like a little bit more on these off angle things, a little bit more where, hey, the opponents are in car wash, your team is here, you want to go here. A little bit more in terms of that stuff is still going to serve you well as Genji. I don't want you playing here going like this, like, oh, I'm above them, blah, 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 blah. No, no, no. This is a better angle, and this is very accessible to you. More high ground control and more, hey, I'm attacking them from behind. I'm attacking them from bigger angles type stuff. You're doing some off angle play, and that's good, but we can do more of this, and doing more of this is going to help you. So that's the first thing I want you to work on. And actively keeping in mind that, hey, did I spend my last life doing this correctly? In the last fight, did I off angle correctly? I want you to use 5 to 15% of your brain power to actively be thinking about, did I do this right? Is there more room to do this? And the answer right now is yes. So you're going to need to be thinking about this with some of your brain power while playing the game for the next 5, 15, whatever it takes matches until you're doing this more consistently. Not saying you're never doing it, but you need to do this a bit more consistently. The second thing I want you to do is you just have to track this Zen. Like, I know it really was only that one time that it was particularly bad, but it was particularly bad. And like it's telling me you couldn't have missed that he had trance there. So it's telling me that you're just not doing enough in terms of tracking. So you need to start tracking. Start your tracking with the opposing Zen or Lucio. That's where you should start your ult tracking. And you can build out your tracking to include things like Roadhog, to include things like Brig. That's fine, but start your tracking with those to include things like Grav, because that'll sometimes get used to stop you. Shatter will sometimes get used to stop you. But start with Zen and Lucio and make sure you're doing the tracking. And it's okay to go, hey, I'm blading to get Trance out if we're going to go win with Grav. That's okay. But generally, you're looking to go, okay, I'm doing this, and then I'm looking to put pressure on the Zen to eliminate them, to get Trance out before I blade, or I'm looking to go, oh, they use trance for something else, now I can blade type thing, or oh, I have nano blade, great, I can potentially get eliminations through it. If we say, that's especially true if you grab them to hold them still or something, which actually becomes a reasonable trade if they're going to transit. Okay, so that's the next thing I want you to do is going to be, hey, I really am making sure that I'm tracking those opposing support ults, those defensive support ults, and that I'm have a plan to deal with them or have dealt with them before I go spend my blade. Those are sort of the two things I'm going to want you to work on most. If I were to give you a third thing to work on after you've completed, hey, I've worked on my off angling, specifically some of my high ground off angling, my extreme off angling, I've worked on making sure that I'm tracking the opposing support ults, then we could get into some of your, hey, please actually take your shuriken shots at people that are standing still. Please actually take your shuriken shots before you dash in, like we saw on high ground on first point there, where you're just like, oh no, I'm just going to dash into this. Like we saw a little bit more on your defense, your first round, you were just a little too happy, a little too dash happy to go in on some of this stuff. Remember, you really only want to go in with Genji's dash if you're very confident that within the next half second or so, you're going to get your elimination, which will reset, which will allow you to get out. It really does matter, and you put yourself in some situations that you didn't have to, where you were in real danger. And you don't want that with Genji. You actually skirmish, play at the edges, etc., until you can pounce to get your elimination. That is what you're looking to do as Genji. You can sometimes walk up and do the assassination play, but that's the thing. You walk up to someone who's not paying attention, get pretty close behind them, and then go for your play. But you didn't use your dash to get in those situations. You walked up. So that's what I'm going to give you to work on. If you have questions, you can throw it up in chat now. If other people have questions, you can, of course, throw them up as well. Or if you are watching this as a video and you're not catching it live and you would like to be able to ask questions in the future, you can actually join my Discord, and there's a Get Notifications channel. And if you react in that channel, you will get the watcher role and you will be able to get pings when I go live, so you can be here to ask questions if you have any of those questions that you'd like to ask. Or if you're just here enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. That really does help out. Okay, so let's catch up on chat here. We're talking about Echo Zolt. Ground Pharaoh, really good. Emong while trolling 2021. Okay, okay. People just don't expect it. Ground Pharaoh, triple greater than Widow 76. Maybe, or quadruple greater, excuse me. If I'm running a BAP with a Pharah, I tell her to ult near corner so I can lamp her. Okay, okay. What's the higher DPS, Whole Hog or Barrage? Barrage by a lot. I'll switch to Mercy to Pocket if the other healer isn't Lucio. Okay. Temporal, you should do more new things like the Switch Pro review, more news things. Yeah, I agree, Nard. I think I will be doing more of that stuff. I'm keeping some eye on video game news type stuff, and I think I'll be doing more of that. Some of that requires there to be news worth sharing, and some of that requires, me to do a little more research. If I'm going to talk about a new game, for example, that maybe I don't have a lot of experience with, sequels with the developer, etc. But I am going to be doing some more of that. I think it's interesting, and I think you guys like it. Hog's more likely to survive whole hog than Pharaoh, so she's 0 DPS, so she runs back from spawn. True, true. Uh, okay. I think that's going to do it. So I'll give you guys just another second here, and I do intend to do another stream after this one. So I might be gone for 5 minutes as I refill my drink here, and as I set up another VOD to go, but I will be back. Okay, that's going to do it. So I will see you soon. Thanks.